Bud break is happening super late this year, and I thought maybe it might be interesting to you to know what is bud break, first of all, and second of all, why would that be something that affects our season as a grape grower. Join me.
Liquid Amber Girl Gardening.
This is the same plant that I used to make a pruning video a little while back, and I thought maybe it would be a good example to use just so that we can check in. Today is April the 18th, and actually last season, April 17th was our bud break. And what I mean by that is our buds on the grapes literally swell up, and when you see green, then your bud has broken and you have new little baby shoots that will come on all the way along the cordon and the trunk of your grape plants. As the plants mature, the trunk stops producing so much green, and a lot of it just comes from your cordon or spurs that are on your cordon. But with these younger plants, we'll have green going all the way across, and I will check in with this same plant later in the season so that you can see what I'm talking about. I really want you to see and experience bud break. It's really, really fun. It's really exciting when you see those buds just getting, what they do is they swell so that they just get so big, and you just think maybe they're going to even pop like a balloon. But what that is just the tissue getting ready, forming a leaf beneath the surface, and then as soon as bud break happens, and it kind of happens spontaneously all over the vineyard. We have 2 acres of Vidal grapes here, and within 1 or 2 days they will all have bud break at the same time, and what they're depending on is the weather. The reason we haven't had bud break yet, even though last year we had it a day ago would have been, is because we've just had such a cruel March. March and April really have been really nasty to us. We've had snow, we've had horrible drops in cold weather, and the grapes, when they have nice warm days, today looks warm, but it's really not. I'm wearing several layers with a coat. And anyway, grapes work similarly to the way the human body processes sugar. And obviously, if you are growing grapes, it's because it's a fruit. It has a high sugar content. And what happens in the plant is when we have warm weather, the starches that are stored in the plant begins making those into sugars. And that's what causes the buds to go ahead and start swelling and get ready to produce our new green growth for the year. When you have a cold snap, the sugars, then the grapevines have to make those sugars and make them back into a starch. If they don't, that's when you get damage from frost, from freeze. So, and that's not just grapes, that's all plants. And I'm generalizing this quite a bit, but just, I mean, taking it to the most basic level, that's what's happening within your plants. That's why if you have lots and lots of cold weather, the plants, grapes in particular, have acclimated. They're cool. All of their sugars have been turned into starch. They can be stored for as long as the cold weather persists. But when we start having temperatures rise, the grape begins changing those starches into sugars that can be used to power the plant through its new growth and fruiting. So if you have lots and lots of warm days, and then all of a sudden you have a cold snap that we call, that just rolls through and causes the temperature to drop really drastically, all of those sugars are still here in the plant, and they haven't been changed back into their starch, and that's when you get frost damage. That can kill the shoots. Of course, this has already been pruned, but the shoots that we had that went on, extended on out, and that's what would cause that to die. And in the spring, once we have bud break, when we have a frost and we have tons of sugar flowing through the plant, you're going to have lots and lots of damage. So how does bud break affect us? When we had our really early bud break last year, it was very exciting, of course. It's really fun to see it. It feels like, yeah, my season has finally started. I've been working in the cold all this time and pruning all these, what looks like a bunch of dead twigs. And it's nice to see it. But it also means that we will have fruit earlier. So our fruit will begin growing on the plant, and we will probably be able to harvest. Usually our summers are pretty similar to each other. We don't have a lot of change in temperature or sunshine or rain or anything like that. We do have a tendency to have flooding summers and drought summers. That's a little bit different though. But anyway, so an early bud break means you're going to be probably harvesting sooner. That's always nice, because what we're always combating in the vineyard is the weather, the frost and the freeze. In the early weather, you don't want it killing off the brand new little buds. The little shoots that come out are so tender and so easily damaged, and we don't want that to happen in the spring. Well, then in the fall, when this is covered with grapes, and we don't want the frost to come through and ruin our harvest before that happens. So it's always just a battle of when is that coming, and will we have enough time to get to a mature fruit. If the fruit isn't mature, then your wine isn't going to taste good. So it's as simple as that. So this late bud break that we're having this season has its pluses and its problems. A good thing about it is we know that we're probably gonna not have to worry as much about horrible late spring frosts, because the buds haven't even started to swell yet, really, and until we have green, it's not going to do too much damage to our plant. So that's a good thing. Bad thing then on the other end of the season is when our fall comes and we have grapes hanging on the vine and we're worrying about when are we going to get these things harvested. Are we going to be able to grow them to maturity before our frost hits? That's when we're going to start having some problems on that other end. So anyway, I hope that this was a video that was a little bit helpful to you, and that you can use it in your own garden or your own vineyard. I hope you all have a great week. I'll see you in the next video.